need them to vote you in? Are you that desperate?
I'm gonna step out.
No, stay. I want you to hear this too, Jenny. What kind of a name for a Mexican is Jenny?
What the hell is happening? Why are you attacking me all of a sudden?
My name is Tony Meneses. I'm the playwright of 2050. This play began as a commission with the Denver Center. It then became a reading in the New Play Summit. And then the year after that, it was produced. It became a production, which premiered this year, 2020. I got into theater in high school, very late in the game. And I saw this one young actress wearing a giant blue beehive wig. And I just thought that was so cool. And I thought, like, either I want to be her or just be in a play with her. So I decided to be in a play and audition the next year. And then I became sort of a theater nut from that point on. Theater's sort of been my home since then, since high school. It's just been like a real gift. That's something that I found at like age 17. It's still something that I care about so deeply. 2050 began in a conversation with a few friends of mine and my then boyfriend, now husband, just talking about the future of identity in America. Historically, this is the pro of being married to a historian, is talking about the evolution of immigrants in this country, looking at, you know, Irish Americans and Italian Americans, how they were once otherized and then how they became assimilated, and just sort of wondering what would happen, like what's the next group. And being Latino, myself, Mexican American, it sort of seemed like the natural next group to get that sort of invitation into sort of white supremacy, if you will. It seemed to be this group. It was a play that began just as me as an artist contending with what was happening politically in this country. I was born in Guadalajara, Mexico, and we immigrated here when I was a baby. My family went from Guadalajara to El Paso for just a spell, and then we crossed over into Albuquerque within sort of like a strong immigrant family household, strong matriarch figure, I really should say. When the play was selected for the New Play Summit, you know, it was 2 weeks, which in New Play development, that's like the holy grail. Usually you just have like a weekend. It was just really wild to have like one solid week to develop the play, test it in front of an audience with the launch weekend of the Denver Center New Play Summit. And then from there, you know, you have feedback, you see how the audience responds to it, and then you have a few more days to get it ready and do rewrites and test it again for the actual New Play Summit itself. You just got to try different things, tinker around, edit, make some late night creative choices, fail a lot, try some things that just do not work. But you have such a supportive audience that's just there along the way. Probably one of the most beautiful memories I'm probably going to have for a very long time was that dress rehearsal, or I guess first preview that we had, where you all brought the community groups, the Latino community groups, to see the play. I honestly have never had that many Latinos in one of my plays, and that's what I write about, and that's what I write for. So it gives me chills just thinking about it, because that's the point. But even just the smaller little embedded little jokes that they were going to get, you know, or the Spanish that was in the show. Immediately, you know, you knew who spoke Spanish in that audience because they were laughing at things that perhaps non-Spanish speakers weren't laughing at. We're also having a bit of a reckoning moment in terms of sort of, systems and biases that I knew, but that perhaps the larger institutional world didn't know. So I hope it's a more equitable place where, you know, it isn't, you know, the tokenist thing of choosing a writer of color. You know, we're seeing more of that already, but even, you know, to have that represented even more and showing diverse voices even within one community, as we've all been reckoning with, you know, again, this is the election, which showed us, you know, how we're not a monolith. Every community has its own diverse dialogue happening within itself. So I'm hoping to see more stories like that, that are, you know, less about the woe is me, we're oppressed narratives, and more about this is sort of kind of our complexities and our disagreements that we have even within each other.